Finally, it feels like everyone else is waking up to Aston Villa's top 4 credentials. We've been looking at Aston Villa under the microscope on this channel all the way back since the summer transfer window, and the business that Monchi, that Unai Emery have been doing in this Aston Villa reconstruction, reimagination, and this super Premier League that we now kind of watch and live in every single week has been remarkable. They don't do anything especially fancy, but when you watch them, they just mesmerise you. And throughout this season, they've not been quite all conquering, but they've been good value for their money in midweeks and at the weekend. And now after this back-to-back result of winning 1-0 over Man City and Arsenal, the rest of the league is starting to take note and take Aston Villa and Unai Emery. Easy for me to say. In the video today, guys, we're going to be looking at exactly what makes Aston Villa such a top 4 threat versus everyone else in the division, and what has Unai Emery been cooking in Birmingham for Aston Villa, and now we're starting to see the end product of it all. That's what we're looking for. There we go. At any point in the video, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We are pushing for 10,000 subscribers, guys. We cannot do that without your support. So if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, get into the comment section and let me know what you think about Aston Villa's top 4 credentials for this season. There is one thing holding them back, and as ever, we'll talk about that in the video. And yeah, and let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, Aston Villa basically played, they did play the exact same 11 in both fixtures at home to Man City and to Arsenal. And both these games really epitomises what makes Unai Emery's Aston Villa so mesmerising and what makes them so formidable against all opponents, big or small. Now, Arsenal under Arteta and Man City under Pep Guardiola kind of operate quite similarly in terms of routes to goal and the way that they're going to try and build their team out in possession. Kai Havertz was given a really big job in this game of having to come from defence and having to get and joining into attack as well. But otherwise, Odegaard, Declan Rice and Zinchenko were left in this kind of engine room area to try and carve some openings for Aston Villa, very similarly to the Man City game, with the likes of Bernardo Silva, John Stones, Rico Lewis, etc. And Aston Villa have been formidable against all different types of opponents, whether it be this all-conquering, tiki-taka, modern Premier League possession football that we see from Arteta and from Pep, or whether it be from any of the other Premier League teams that Aston Villa have slayed. They are very tactically flexible, but really not much actually changes. Boubacar Kamara playing in defensive midfield alongside Douglas Luiz, Yuri Tielemans and John McGinn have really encapsulated what it means to be in this midfield. Aston Villa have had their fair share of injuries, and this is very overlooked when a lot of people are now coming to the party to analyse them. But Tielemans has only recently broke into the team, and I do feel that he has been a bit of a missing piece of the puzzle that has helped bring the rest of this team together. McGinn, very present on all sides of the pitch here. He is just a man that goes everywhere and gets involved in all areas of the play. But between the midfield, almost regardless of who plays, they've got this lovely box system for controlling the game wherever the ball is. If the ball's on the left-hand side, they can all operate on there. Right-hand side, through the centre, whatever. But when you throw that into the mix of Pau Torres, Diego Carlos and Ezri Konsa being the primary makeup of the back 4, it does change ever so slightly. Sometimes Konsa can play centre-back when they've got Matty Cash in at right back. Sometimes Alex Moreno can start. He's obviously been injured, featured much less. But it gives them a lovely ability to protect the centre ground. And this is what the whole strategy is built upon, is making the middle of the pitch densely compact and full of players in your team that are capable of playing in tight spaces, that are very unselfish, very good at protecting the ball, and if they lose the ball or when their teammates do, they're very good at winning the ball back. And you know, all of these guys are workhorses. Boubacar Kamara, like I mentioned already, almost acts like a third centre-back quite often. Douglas Luiz does a great job of going centrally all the way up and down the pitch as a bit of a playmaker, and we've really seen a different Tielemans to what I recognised of him coming into Leicester and previously at Monaco and Anderlecht, but he's actually operating much more like a second striker, and he's getting way high in support of Ollie Watkins. And you know, we've seen a real change in Tielemans, and he really feels like he's went a level up. And quite frankly, they were so good at doing this. Guys like Odegaard, Rice, Gabriel Jesus, even Saka, none of them could really get a handle on Aston Villa. And I know there was good goalkeeping. I know the handball thing and da-da-da. It was a tight game against Arsenal. Against Man City, it was a tight game as well. But Aston Villa deserve these results on the way they've been playing, how ambitious they've been, how unapologetic they've been in their deliberate approach to trying and winning matches. And now that they've managed to pull this off against not only Arsenal, but Manchester City in consecutive weeks, it looks to me that a top 4 challenge is 100% on the cards, and I make them very good value for money. Now, people are already saying, oh, they've got midweeks and as the season goes on. They're already out the EFL Cup. The FA Cup, we'll see the draw for that and the fixtures and all the rest of it as they come. And Unai Emery is the master operator of midweek and domestic football. He's obviously famous for all the Europa League wins and all that kind of thing, but even with the clubs that he's been managing at, he's always had them in the top 4, the top 5 of the league, and in a bad season, maybe top 6 or 7, when they've had to rely on that, Europa qualification to get them into Europe the next season. He's used to being a guy that gets to the top end of divisions. And one of the things I've been most excited and intrigued about watching with the development of this squad of Emery and Monchi is seeing them have the Premier League money, having the Premier League lure, and if they were to just build their best team with their tactics, their philosophy, with all the things that a manager could ever want at their disposal, how would it turn out? And when you see Leon Bailey play 45 minutes really effectively this season as a wide forward, be subbed out for Moussa Diaby, who was this star signing this summer and who's also been in incredible form this season. Both of those guys happy to share the workload, happy to share the responsibility and the efforts of the team ultimately progressing and doing well. You don't see that kind of ethos in too many up-and-coming, big spending Premier League clubs, and I say that because Diaby did cost a lot of money, as well as a lot of other players in this squad. And Ollie Watkins just goes from strength to strength in this system. He is amazing for Unai Emery. He's a great poacher, a good goal scorer. He's not quite had the goals in the last couple of games, certainly, but he has really benefited from having this whole midfield work around, giving him time and space to get on the ball when Aston Villa get it in these types of channels where he can be the most effective, and giving him ample support with teammates when possible. If, they can make the numbers count, they can and they will. Because depending on the phase of play with Aston Villa, it could look like 4-4-2, like we've seen them lined up with at the beginning. But when they're in full-fledged counter-attack mode, they can look like they've got 3 or 4 guys up front in attack. With how much energy the midfield has, like Camara, Douglas Luiz, McGinn, Tielemans, and even some of the other guys like Ramsey, Buendia, etc. that haven't been featuring recently for different reasons. They've all got fantastic engines, but they're all fantastic at carrying the workload together across the pitch to make sure as many of them can be as effective in the match for as long as possible. And when you've got 4 guys in here, like, I think of this as chess ball. Primary rule of chess is control the middle ground and be able to get all your good pieces in the right places so they can be effective. And really, this is just what this type of system really screams out to me, that you're given the best players on the pitch, which is, in this case, Diaby, Bailey, the wide attacking forwards that seem to feature, in rotation for Aston Villa. Ollie Watkins' pace and goal-scoring ability, as well as the amount of quality midfielders they've got that can really do a little bit of everything, go beyond the striker and support and counter-attack, in possession and in build-up play, can make good shapes to really nullify and isolate opposition, so that then when they do have the ball to pick up space, they can find a runner who's going to be in space on the other side of the pitch, switch from left to right, that kind of thing. Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, Konsa really stood out over these games. I know each of them have come in for praise in different ways for different contributions that they've had, and it's fantastic to see. Carlos hasn't really had much of a Aston Villa career to this point, and this season he's really starting to make a name for himself, and I've been super impressed every time I watch Ezri Konsa. It feels like he gets better every single week, and although I don't think he's exceptional at much, he's very good at everything, and in this system of playing as a tight right back, or even when he's in this system, he doesn't mind coming out into these channels, sticking with a winger and making it tight for them in a 1v1. And these are hallmarks of every player in this team, that they are very capable being isolated 1v1, and they know that the rest of the team is so well drilled that they'll be able to come in and cover in different spaces and different gaps. And Emi Martinez is probably the most undervalued person in this team, in the sense of, you only need to look at Arsenal with Raya and Ramsdale, and if you look at Man City without, I know Ederson's kind of okay, but he's not that great. And even behind him, Ortega Morena looks okay, but again, he's just another Man City number 2 guy that plays some games because he can pass the ball and stuff. Elite, top, world-class goalkeepers that can do all the fancy stuff, like play out from the back, know when to play long, know how to play short. But like Emi Martinez in this game, he picked up a rating of 96 out of 100, which for a goalkeeper is absolutely absurd. He did get the clean sheet in this game, but he made 3 saves from inside the box, 4 good high claims from Arsenal crosses, corners, that kind of thing. 3 of those saves were diving. He made 1 goalkeeper smother where the ball's played through the offside trap and he comes out and beats the attacker to the ball, smothers it out. And 2 sweeper keepers where, again, he's coming out and catching the offside trap when it's been broken and sweeping up like a sweeper would at the back. So a goalkeeper that isn't just saving, but is doing all the other stuff for in and around the pitch, protecting his high line defence. 23 accurate passes, 9 of them are accurate into the, accurate long balls, 6 of them made into the opposition. He lost possession 20 times. This will be 20 missed passes here. And these will be like the long kicks that go out for a throw-in. That's what that statistic typically is. And look at that. One of his long balls made it all the way into the box and he got an attempted assist for it. When you've got a goalkeeper of this level and has this well-rounded skill set, it does give the rest of the defence and the rest of the team a little bit more confidence with the adventurous parts of their game. Every football team needs to have an element of risk in it, and you need to have opportunities where you are going to expose yourself somewhere in the pitch on the effort of trying to take advantage of your opponent. But the risk and reward element is what every coach, every team struggles with whatever strategy they're running. And some of the teams that really do struggle to get off the ground don't have a goalkeeper that they know can get them out of jail, can even just do the basic job of save most of the shots that come on target. Now, I did say in the beginning of the video, there's one thing that could hold Aston Villa back. I think something happening to Emi Martinez, of course, would be catastrophic for them. But outside of that, the number one position that they are super light on quality and depth is centre forward. Ollie Watkins is not replaceable in this squad. John Duran, the big Colombian that they signed from America, has done okay in some of his appearances this season. He's a different type of player to Watkins, and he's definitely not as Premier League ready or as Premier League capable at the moment. So I think Aston Villa, if they want to keep on the way they're going, they're now competing in Cup and in League. I don't think it's really going to affect this team too much. They've already survived a lot of injuries and some suspensions here and there and other problems that really most teams have been affected by now in this season. And the only one I really don't think they would be able to really withstand is if something happened to Watkins. So I really hope Aston Villa actually go out and try and improve in their striker depth in the January transfer window. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm super happy that everyone else is kind of waking up to the project that's happening in Aston Villa and starting to take them much more seriously for the top four. On screen there now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. One of those videos is who should Aston Villa sign for their striker depth. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and retweet, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.